Okay, well now I've hit the button. So, anime reflux. Apparently, Zero and Slicer did not have restraint to not talk about it before we started the thing. It's
Oh,
fine.
come on. I was just saying that I forgot how bad it was. I was like, I remember some of this episode of High School DxD, and then it's just like, no, no, you didn't. You forgot this, and this, and this, and this. Oh,
I mean,
there's.
let's qualify the word bad there.
I mean, in terms of when I say bad, I mean just
Sorry.
how far they go with the fan service. You know, with the naughty bits.
I
Um,
would be a-okay with that were it not for the jelly slash pudding sound effects for
oh
bouncing
yeah,
beads.
no, no, no,
That,
that grossed me out.
yeah, that's
I
not.
forgot about that. I
Mm-mm.
was like, ew. Are you okay?
Yeah, they're
I
not supposed to do that.
I was watching this and I heard my parents' voice outside my door, and I was like, please, please don't come in. Not right now. Her tits are out. Don't open the door. Please don't. I can't.
I mean, I would be genuinely curious what percentage of this episode is okay for someone to walk in on.
I
Twenty
mean,
percent, maybe.
Zero. In fairness, they walked in on you watching Honey Pop while playing Honey Pop. On the other hand, that was when you were in your early 20s. Now I imagine they come in and see you watching High School DxD, like, dude, you're pushing 30. Come on, what are you doing?
You've gone down in quality. It's your tastes have gotten worse.
Uh,
Says the guy's 31. Anyway, so,
yeah, who are you to talk?
yeah, I also live alone, so I don't have to worry about fucking people looking over my shoulder. I can do whatever deviant thing I want. So, High School DxD is the anime we're watching. It's a, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It, I watched the dub for the first time because that's my job. Dub club.
Dub Club.
Yeah. And it's it's better than I remember because I watched like a couple minutes of it at one point and I was like, ooh. Uh, but yeah, still weird listening to it in English. uh,
It's like listening to Bible Black in English. I mean, not as cringy and terrifying on your ears. It's just
I
weird.
didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it is. It's
I
not
I
good.
didn't know
Oh
that was
boy.
a thing either.
Oh, look it up sometime. It's an experience.
That sounds like an experience that has to be shared.
I'm talking. They paid these voice actors $20. They do not. There is no effort put into this.
I feel like that's something that somebody would screen share in VC and be like, "Watch this with me."
In fairness, I imagine Bible Black got dubbed in like with the latest, the early 2000s. And at that time, it was like, okay, uh, your motivation is you're getting triple penetrated by a demon. So let's see what you can do with that. And they're like, I quit. So, uh, nowadays you could probably get voices for that sort of thing quite easily. Like Fiverr and shit. It's like there's loads of them, but not at the time. So, High School DxD, on the other hand, was dubbed in the 2010s because it came out in 2010, so that's makes sense. Um, they did get decent voice actors. Like I recognize couple of people. Donoseek, I think, is voiced by Todoroki from My Hero Academia, which is weird. But, yeah. So... It starts out more poetic than I remember, and probably more poetic than it ever gets for the rest of the show or book series. Hello?
Sorry, my brother was asking a question real quick, so I was answering him. Sorry, can you repeat the last thing you said?
It starts out more poetic than it really ever gets again.
Yeah, it does. It kind of starts on like a mini opening, doesn't it?
Yeah, the red hair, color of blood, and all that stuff.
Yeah, they have kind of the Ava problem where they use a lot of symbols and symbology and such, and it's all just meaningless. It's just fluff.
It gets dropped early on. You end up with a situation later on where it's balancing between harem and shonen action and world building and characters. It doesn't have time for all that fancy pants symbolism and fluff and poetry. We're just gonna go do the thing.
Yeah, you get the feeling that the guy was like, hey, I have ideas and passion for this project. And it was like, hey, rake in the money. Money, money, money. Also, symbolism is the word you were looking for there, Slicer, not symbology.
I did, yeah.
Symbology is the type of magic system used in the Star Ocean series of games.
Symbology is the bullshit academic discipline invented for the Da Vinci Code.
Okay, I woke up 17 minutes ago. I need you to get off my dick. But, yeah. That's fair. Yes, that. Symbolism.
Yeah, okay. So... That's the best reaction I can hope for. Alright. Yeah. So
yeah, you're not wrong though. Yeah, it opens on that like mini opening, and then we get some cryptic dialogue from Reyes, whatever.
Reyes.
I don't know. We get a lot of like little mini cuts to her just like looming in the windowsill like a fucking weirdo.
She's a devil. Looming is probably in the job description.
That's true. I think they take away your devil card if you don't.
Looming and glooming.
Except her nipples are poking out, so it doesn't. It doesn't.
I feel like
really
that's also part of the devil job description.
I think it's part of the looming.
Yeah, I guess female, you're not allowed to wear bras ever.
The nips have to loom too. It's the only way.
I feel like realistically, she has a real problem finding bras. Like, I have a sister that's curvy. It's a problem.
She doesn't, but like she strips and she has a bra.
She does.
Also,
it probably cost about $10,000.
We get a bunch of panning shots like immediately after this, and it shows the other students, and they're all stacked except for the ones that aren't, and that's the point. So I have to believe that the average size is just bigger in this universe. It might be easier for her to get bras.
I mean, most of the characters in the opening are either devils or some other variety of supernatural creature, if memory serves.
No, it's all the students.
Sorry, fucking throat. What are you saying?
I have the episode muted and just like playing on double speed now just to refresh myself. And yeah, right before they're caught peeping, there's a bunch of panning shots of all the different clubs at school, and they're all stacked. Not to her level, obviously, because she's the best. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a word that you used.
Yeah. I don't believe it, but she's the top titty waifu here, so that's meaningful. I don't know.
Second
This
place,
show,
technically, but yes.
this show crams sexuality into things and then places it on a pedestal, and it doesn't mesh well. Like the dramatic looming and the mysterious speeches don't really have much of an effect when her nipples are poking out the whole time and she's undressing for a shower, which she's just spontaneously taking.
Yeah. It's,
At like 2 in the afternoon.
I feel like it's kind of unfair to call this adolescent, because this is a softcore porn show, essentially.
This is fair.
So, it's kind of the same as complaining that the lady kind of just needed her plumbing done rather than getting sexed. Like,
That guy was just taking a bath. Why did the lifeguard come in?
yeah.
There's no shark in the bath.
This isn't the beach. This is a bathtub.
Yeah.
So it feels a little unfair to level such criticisms at when that's kind of the point, that it's a little unrealistic. And
I suppose it still feels like they're awkwardly trying to combine genres, but I guess they tried. I mean, it's something. There is an attempt.
I mean, let's be perfectly honest. At the time, they succeeded better than pretty much anyone else had. Like, I do remember when we first started recording the podcast, and Zero came on like, "Have you heard of Highschool DxD? It's so good."
I have no memory.
I will still
You have
praise this
no
anime
memory
for the
of
fact
this?
that I will still praise the show for giving Issei trauma from this first episode and it being meaningful.
I remember I read a lot of the light novels of High School DxD, and like that's where most of my stuff from that was I like the story and I like the characters.
Guys, you don't get it. He talks to the god of boobs.
Yeah. It's stupid. It's silly.
Yeah, it is.
But it's fun,
Yeah.
Um,
That's really more the tone you need to take with it. So I guess, in that sense, the symbology of the opening is a little against tone. Like, it's not that fun. It has pretensions of something it's kind of not. Whereas silly people doing silly stripping and talking ominously is really more show speed. Of just dark portents, but also tits.
I feel like it took a
Yeah.
little bit to get for the writer to get into the groove of what he wanted this to be. And once he does, it really, it takes off.
For a while.
Does it go bad?
I
never finished.
It gets kind of stupid. Well, it gets kind of stupid in a way that is not conducive to the show being good. I'll rephrase, because it's always been kind of stupid, but yeah. So anyway, plot summary for the people that haven't actually seen or heard of the show. Issei Hyodo is a second-year high school student who works his ass off, in fairness, to get into a school that recently turned co-ed. Recently, as in the year he went, like when he first started at the school. Under the logic,
So he did his research
Yeah.
and got in right away.
The logic being that if he went to a school that was co-ed, then all of the girls would be thirsty as hell because they didn't get to see boys a lot. So he would have the pick of the litter and form a harem, because that's his dream, to form a harem.
Kind of that I wouldn't date you if you were the last man on Earth kind of thing. Only it's just kind of him and like his two friends and Kiba.
Yeah, there's like maybe 20 dudes at this school.
So in that way, it does work, I suppose.
If, he and his friends weren't Republican pieces of shit. It's kind of
a
big
with a bad
plan.
reputation just in general.
So they lament that they are in their second year and their plan has failed miserably so far because they're repugnant pieces of shit, but they don't quite realize that.
Yeah.
And then one of the three of them is like, hey, I'm gonna go peep on the kendo club. And the other two get to look while Issei is stuck on the sidelines. He pulls them back so he can get a look, and wacky slapstick hijinks ensue. The other two run off. Issei is stuck there, rubbing his head, and they got the attention of the kendo club. He gets beaten up. Because, comedy.
Yeah. What anime is it that it opens with a similar scene, except for one of the characters holds up their calloused hand, and they're commenting that blood is coming out. As in when they handle themselves.
You tell me!
Because I know that exists. Because it's stuck in my head.
Pardon?
I don't know, but it feels like that would have worked better in this show.
Yeah, so... Anyway, so the three meet up again, hiding under a building, because they're trolls now, which fits.
Yeah.
Issei gives him shit for leaving him behind, and, for not even letting him see. Then Rias is in the window above them, and is like, hair flip. And that's pretty much it for that scene. Issei is dumbstruck, and that's about it. And then we cut to inside that room, and Rias is doing a chess puzzle that another girl set for her, and is like, so easy. And then she strips off and takes a shower, and her boobs go bloop.
Yeah, like a lot, too. It's not just when she takes the bra off. It's pretty much every step, which in fairness is realistic if you have, F cups. I don't think they really stay still very often.
Yeah. They also tend not to be quite so shapely, but, whatever.
That too.
Devil physiology. It's hand-waved. Actually, yeah, that is literally the explanation, is devil physiology. They don't really need to worry about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, after that, Issei goes home, and he's on his way home, and he gets accosted by a girl in a school uniform he doesn't recognize, and she asked him to be her boyfriend. And he's like, yeah, okay.
Is it actually full-on boyfriend, or is it just a date? Because I know they do date. I mean, that's the next few scenes.
In the dub, it's boyfriend. In the sub, I think it was a love confession.
Oh.
I think. Yeah. I might be mistaken. Don't quote me on it. So, yeah. A brighter spark might have been like, that's a little weird for, someone I don't know from a school I don't recognize to come up to me and say, hey, love you, or be my boyfriend, person I have supposedly never seen before. But, you know, he's not a bright spark, so makes sense.
Beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
Yeah, basically. So he's happy that he will get to see Lady Parts. That is also in the dub. And then the next day, he walks with her to school, and his friends are super jelly. Not like the boobs, like jealous. That's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember the order of events. I think not really much happens. I think Riaz has another more ominous moment of like, oh, you were right, so what should we do? And she's like, we'll have to wait and keep an eye on him, and then it's up to him, I think.
Yeah, Konako was watching them.
Yeah.
I remember the name.
Yeah. Because that means kitten.
At least
Because Riaz is
easy,
unimaginative
'cause-
with names.
It has the
Yeah.
word Neko in it.
It literally means kitten.
Yeah, I know. It's silly.
Yeah.
Her full name is Kitten Castle.
Honestly, Kitten Castle, pretty solid name, not gonna lie. You're a castle of kittens.
That does sound
Yeah,
pretty legit, but remembering that
I
she's a
would eat
rook
that
and
guy.
she's also
Yeah,
a
I know.
I
I know she's a rook.
I think
It's
Riaz
just
was like
that.
12 when she named her, though, so...
Yeah. It is the
You
definition on the nose, but it works.
You shall be Kitten Castle. Thank you, my liege. I will bear this name with honor as Kitten Castle.
Oh, I don't know if you guys have paid attention, but during the dates that Renair and Issei go on, she is on all the time. The mask is on the whole time, even when he's not looking. We don't even get a hint. No dirty looks when he has his head turned. No nothing. So that's impressive.
I remember that it's a little different between the light novels and anime. I think Zero complained about this back in the day. That, like, in the light novel, it was like she was actually letting herself enjoy herself and thought he was kind of sweet. Whereas in the anime, no, it's a total fake. And she's just a bitch.
I think there was an element of, like, it's kind of a shame that it has to be somebody like this, but gotta do my job. Whereas that sort of nuance is lost. Like, she kind of says, you know, oh, it was fun with playing along with your naive stuff, and I'll treasure this present you got me. But it comes across as her being condescending, which I don't think is accurate to the original light novel.
Yeah, helped by the fact that she taunts him with it later in the season. So, yeah. It is a shame, but oh well. Adaptation,
She does.
it happens. Sorry?
Fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, right. Issei actually does behave himself. I mean, just aside from some obvious long looks at her tits whenever they're, like, sitting facing each other.
Yeah.
It's not unheard of for teenage dates. That's fairly normal.
But he's like a normal dude, you know?
Yeah. Once he stops being a blatant pervert, he handles himself fairly well on the dating front.
Yeah. So the date goes on, and then they walk through the park, and Yuma is her fake name. She trots away from him, which seems a bit counterproductive for the whole murder thing, but oh well, you know, theatrics, mythological creatures. She asks him to die for her. He is very confused, and then all of her clothes burst off of her, and she puts on a dominatrix outfit with feathery wings.
And during her transformation sequence, he's like, I saw her tits. I saw them.
I saw her tits. Wait, what?
Wait, what's going on?
That's literally the thought process. It's fucking great.
I mean,
like I
I,
say, it's fun if you let yourself like just be. It's fucking stupid. Great.
I feel like in a universe where, I mean, they do have anime in this universe, presumably. So magical girl anime is a thing. So
I mean,
it's
yes.
not like it's insane for someone to transform. It's crazy that it's happening in real life, finger quotes. But so yeah, the fact that he just kind of focuses on her tits while she's transforming magically is not super surprising.
Yeah. And we will get back to the magical girl thing in a little bit. So yeah, she stabs him hard. With a spear of red light. And he very dies. Thinking and wishing that he could die motorboating Rias's tits. That was what the symbolism was leading up to. Red, like the color of her hair. Man, she was hot. I want to smush my face in those jubblies.
I do want to say, in that case, I do feel like the symbolism and the poetry at the beginning is just subverted with that sort of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
It's just brought up to subvert it.
Yeah. So then Rias shows up, like teleports in, and is like, "Hey, you live for me now." Issei wakes up the next day, and by his anime girl alarm clock. So anime is a thing. You asked, and it's definitely a thing because it's got all the tropes of different anime girls. Of like that tsundere who refuses to go down on him, and the yandere with a chainsaw, and all this stuff.
Oh God, right? I forgot about that part where he has an alarm clock with a different trope every day.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, points for creativity. That's pretty interesting.
I'm not big on buying anime merch. I've bought a couple things once in a while. I wouldn't buy that under any circumstances. Like, practically speaking, that just sounds like a good way to make you hate all anime tropes. Like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to be awake. Leave me alone.
You don't have an alarm clock that plays a song you enjoy because you're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
Very soon. So it's the same problem.
10 years later, Issei, plagued by his alarm clock, hates all girls. One might think, why not get rid of it? But the answer is, I don't want to spend money.
Yeah. He keeps spending all his money on 2D porn. Ironically.
So, yeah, he wakes up and goes to school, and no one remembers Yuma. He no longer has her information in his phone. Then he sees Rias, and she's like, hair flip, looks at him. And
I'm not going to tell you what just happened. Later.
Yeah, pretty much. So, what's his name? It's one of the two. I don't know. The bald one invites the other two over to watch a new video of somebody, and they apparently watch porn together, which it's a little weird, but I won't say I haven't done that.
I mean, just bros broing out, you know. Apparently,
yeah, it's a little weird, having done it personally. So yeah, no. So they're watching it, and it's a magical girl spoof. So magical girls also a thing, and I will bring up that actual magical creatures also perform as magical girls. That is a thing in this setting. It comes full circle. Yeah, because Seraphol.
Yeah, not only magical creatures, like she's like one of the highest, most powerful devils in all of hell, and she's just like acting. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
She has a show, so it's good marketing. Anyway, so Glasses guy is like, I'm gonna turn the lights off, and I'm like, dude, this is maybe taking it a little far, buddy. Like, I don't know why you want to turn the lights off in this room with 3 dudes while you're watching porn. It's something you want to tell us, bud? But, yeah, he turns the lights off, and then Issei is like, wait, you didn't turn the lights off, because he can still see everything fine. I'm like, dude, shut up, porn. And he goes home, because he's feeling weird. Continues to go home, looks in a dark alleyway, he can see it perfectly fine, even though he knows it's dark. He can hear a mother and daughter screaming at each other from far away, which doesn't seem that unreasonable, if I'm perfectly honest. It didn't seem that far away, but oh well. It's, trying to send the message. And then he goes back to the park where he got killed. And he's like, it wasn't a dream. Based on not much, but just a feeling, I guess. And then he gets accosted by Todoroki with growl in his voice. It's actually a dude in a trench coat and fedora, which is the most creepy look you could possibly have.
I mean, if you're walking around the park at night wearing that, I'm gonna call the cops.
Yeah. That's not a good look. I constantly am an apologist for the fedora, just by extension of it being often mistaken for a trilby. I really like that type of hat. But there's some occasions where even I've got to be like, dude, no. Just
I like the fedora as a hat. I like the trench coat as a coat. But if you combine the two and walk in a park at night, you're up to some trouble.
yeah. Especially if you do it like with your head tilted down so you can't actually see the face. That's really just like that's a red flag. Crimson, the color of
pretty
her
sus.
hair.
Pretty sus. Voting you out. Hit the emergency button.
Yeah. So this dude is like, "Hey, gonna fuck you up," and Issei's like, "Whoop whoop 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 whoop," and jumps backwards.
Whoa! How did I jump so far?
Yeah. And then Trenchcoat Guy's like, "Okay, so you're alone. I've never seen you before. And you have no idea what's going on. I assume you must be a stray. So I'm gonna kill you, and no one's gonna care." Which at the time, it's actually fair logic. That's
Yeah.
like,
And even if he was part of a peerage, if he's by himself, that's a good chance to pick a demon off.
So yeah, Issei gets stabbed again. And then Rias shows up via teleportation and is like, "Hey, he's mine." And then the other 2 girls show up, and Trenchcoat Guy's like, "Oh, you're from the House of Gremory, the people that run this town. I am surprised by this information. Honest."
Whoops.
Yeah.
My bad.
My mistake, I suppose.
Keep your servants on a leash, or next time they might not be so lucky. Ha 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 ha. Bye.
Also, I really hope we don't meet again, which kind of undermines the whole creepy aesthetic he's going for. Like, yeah, fuck you. If you don't let your servants just stick by you at all times, then they're gonna die. Please stay away from me. Yeah.
Don't go to the church.
Yeah, and Rias is like, I'm gonna take care of Issei myself. And then Issei wakes up the next day with another alarm clock thing. I forget which one it is. I don't really care. And he wakes up and he's like, "Why am I naked?" And it spends a lot of time showing you that he's naked. So equality?
I guess. I think that's how that works.
It's not even close, but yeah. So he pulls up the covers, and Rios is there. who he sees tit first. So, yeah. And she wakes up and poses provocatively and is like, yes, you're now, I'm a devil, and so are you, and you're mine now. And that's the end of the episode, I think. Yeah.
Let me see. I think the episode I had pulled up timed out. It's just loading forever, so. Oh, well. Oh.
So it's really weird to go back to this and try and review it with like unbiased eyes, because like I wouldn't call myself a super fan of this series, but I do appreciate it. I have written a story on it. Yeah. I have read quite a few.
Yeah, I remember that like this always came up in our discussions about fan fiction a lot. Because there's a lot of it for this particular story. There's tons of fanfics for it.
Yeah, because
a lot of them involve replacing Issei or making him smart.
Yeah, but that's the thing that happens because a lot of the story revolves around Issei acquiring tits, and occasionally the girls that accompany them. But outside of that, there is actually a fairly developed setting with, vast casts of characters that have interesting backstories and factions with political intrigue involved. Like, there is a backdrop of real intrigue going on that you only occasionally see through the, curtain of tits. But it's there, and a lot of writers like to explore that, which is fair enough. As for the show itself, the animation's nice. The art direction is very nice. Tits included, they do look very nice. They sound not great. Sound design made some choices.
Sound design need to just butt out.
Yeah, little bit. Plot-wise, it's actually a decent plot hook, to be perfectly honest. Not that I want tits and a harem thing. Though, I will note, for the time, that was basically groundbreaking, because all of the protagonists of this sort of show were chaste as balls.
Yes.
That is fair. Yes.
It's very important to understand the context that this came out in. Is that this is one of the one of the first harem anime that comes out where the dude's just like, look, I want girls. I just want girls. I want girls badly.
Like, there were some back in the day in like the 90s that did allow for that sort of thing, but for all of the 2000s, the decade, no, that was not a thing. All the harem protagonists were basically girls are here, I suppose, and they want to do things with me. I don't know what, but I guess.
But I was taking a bath.
Yeah.
This isn't the beach.
So, yeah. And then you had this show that so very much went against the grain because of that. It was like, hey, it's a harem show. Let's have the guy actually appreciate it instead of everyone fucking hating the protagonist. So, at the time, it was quite refreshing.
Yeah.
Even now, it's still actually kind of rare to see that kind of thing. Like, there are some that go all in, that are very bad. Like, shit, what was the name of it? Something Ragnarok or something?
Yeah, it was
Oh, yeah.
a record of Ragnarok. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. And it's like, yeah, the dude, he's like Issei. He likes women and stuff, and he's also a colossal douchebag.
The
Which
Master of
Issei,
Ragnarok and the Blessing of Einherjar.
yeah, which Issei actually wasn't a complete douchebag, which made him somewhat likable when he wasn't being a dumbass. Um, and they also ignore the part that made DxD interesting beyond the harem aspect, which was the setting. Like, a lot of these also rans also don't have an interesting setting. They don't even try. They just, here's a girl. He gets with the girl. Yay. Here's more girls. He buys slaves to make them his girls. It was a choice.
It's
But
a
yeah, he gets with
commonly
those
made
two.
choice.
Sorry, what?
It's a commonly made choice in isekai. There for a while, I swear there was like 2 entire anime seasons where you couldn't go 5 minutes without one of the characters in one of these shows buying its slave.
Like it's such a common thing that usually what I tend to do is I just when I'm looking at isekai stuff, I just avoid it, which is like I'm gonna go buy a slave. Like, nope, nope, I don't want to give you the time of the day if you're gonna go for that.
Yep.
Not even. I don't think any of them even tried to subvert that.
Yeah, like if that's the direction you're going to go for a plotline, then that's basically saying I want this character to be completely unlikable, but he fucks. That's it. That is the character you're writing. I'll be perfectly honest. I've read quite a few of those as well. Uh, Sometimes the porn can be good. Otherwise,
Yeah.
not really a good story for it. Usually, sometimes it's an interesting character study for the type of person that would be like that. But
Yeah, sometimes the person's just genuinely that awful, and or they're in a really like screwed up state of mind, and it's not like glorified as something that is a good thing to do. Like that's what really gets me is when it's like this is the right thing to do, and look, this person gets rewarded for doing this thing for participating in slavery.
yeah, I feel like we've gotten a little off track. What I'm saying is, even now, High School DxD kind of stands out as something other shows didn't really manage to pull off. Because still in the early seasons, like it pulled it off pretty well. I only watched season 1 and 2 and part of season 3 for the record.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the good framework behind the show really does a lot of the legwork for making the show quite watchable.
Because
The
it's not
pudding
just
tits
about
kind of do a lot of work to do the opposite, but you know, it is
yeah,
what it is.
it's not just about him, but it's also him in and his position in this in hell, basically,
Mm,
and what that means, and it the world itself expands and is detailed to the point where you can see that everything that he does is stupid, but it's stupid, and what makes it matter is how it affects everything else around him.
mm. Yeah,
Also, the show does a pretty good job of bringing in new elements every arc that keep you interested. They explore new things.
yeah,
Like the
like
Chaos Brigade is pretty fucking cool
mm,
as a concept.
I think it was the first arc is Fallen Angels and Devils, just generally. The second one was Devil Politics to an extent. Um, Third one was the Church, I believe. Uh, just the Church, and they're super warriors. And then you have like multi faction uh, global politics between different groups that are in the middle of a Cold War. Like, okay, this suddenly got a little higher stakes than I was expecting. All right. And then it's like more devil politics, and also the Greek pantheon, not the Greek, the Norse pantheon get involved and stuff. So
Yeah.
like, for as it goes on, it just builds and adds more stuff that, you know, expands on the framework of the setting as a whole. And it's not all just about Issei getting more tits. He does.
I mean, he
but
does.
It's not
but...
entirely about that. And then at some point, like about 12 books in, it's like, no, this is just about him getting more tits and the world bending over backwards to fillet him. Unfortunately, it's, you know, it happens. Series go on too long and they lose track of what they're supposed to be about. But, you know,
I never got that far.
It is unfortunately a thing that happened. Currently, Issei is in a tournament to try and become a Satan after all of the other Satans have fucked off to fight Trihexa. Except for Ajuko, who is still around. And they have expanded it to 7 Satans instead of 4, but also Azazel is like, hey, there are 7 Satans, and we could make him Asmodeus, the Satan of Lust, but maybe we could also just make him the 8th super special Satan. Just because. It's like,
What?
fucking shut up. No, fuck off. Yeah.
But he has to be special.
Yeah, that's the it kind of fell into that, yes. Issei had an element of being special at the beginning, but he also kind of sucked, and it made sure you knew he sucked. But then it was like, no, he has to be the most super special boy ever. And it really just fell off after that.
It goes on too long.
Yep. It happens to every show, if they go on for too long. But, yeah. For the early arcs, it's very interesting, and as I say, a great framework for fanfiction. Good stuff. I still generally recommend it if you are okay with tits being very prominent in your shows.
I recommend it as a crossover base than I do more than itself. It's just canon DxD is kind of boring to me, but crossovers are more fun because you can have a more. And Issei is not a bad character. He is, in fact, quite nuanced for a harem protagonist, but in the grand scheme of things, he's just not that great. So
it's the same thing with like something like I remember Familiar of Zero is great for crossover material.
Oh, absolutely.
You can summon basically anybody. Yeah, you could. Yeah, but like there's so much more potential for other characters.
Mm-hmm.
There is a reason that no one gives a shit about Ragnarok or whatever the fuck it was, or any of the other also-rans, whereas Funimation are pimping the dub of High School DxD Season 5.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I rolled a number.
You did? I don't have the list up.
Yeah. Well, I'm just informing you I rolled a number.
Mm-hmm. What's the number?
4. The number of death.
B.
DxD.
96. 96.
96? 71.
Oh, thank God. If we had to do fucking Danmachi after this, I would not have been happy. 71, you said? Oh God, that is a name. Okay. Bu- 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 bu. Oh shit! No, D. Motherfucker, D. The fuck? Where's this thing? It's... I can't find this one.
As in, it's on your list, but it's not on the anime list anymore?
Yeah, I might have to bear with me for a second. I'm just gonna. Okay, let's try searching that in M for the translated name. No. This one's gonna be tricky to find then. Oh boy. I'm checking another list. Oh. I think I found it. Okay. Yeah. Alright.
Oh boy.
Dokyonin wa Hiza Tokidoki Atama no Ue. Translation. What's the translation? My housemate is on my lap, but sometimes on my head.
What?
It's a story about a guy and his cat.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Zero might have to try and find a summary for this because
Novelist Subaru Mikazuki, who is shy and not good with other people, and Haru, the cat that has been living a severe stray life. This is a story of them suddenly living together and describes the happiness of living together from both point of views.
Sounds pretty fluffy. All right.
Apparently it's very cute and people watching it really like it.
On the
I mean,
site
it's a
that
show
you
about
shared,
cats, so
it has a 9.28 out of 10 on the site that you shared with us. So, well liked.
Yeah. Apparently very heartwarming. Just cute.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
We can watch it and then go and post it in cat chat afterwards.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, like
On our Discord server.
that'd be a nice thing to just have just before Christmas. Just put that there and be like, here's a nice
Yeah.
thing.
This
Is
is
a thing
nice.
I could say if we weren't like 6 episodes behind on Reflux. This is what happens when I have a backlog. But here's the thing: every time I have a backlog, I then get rid of I then upload the episodes, and then we end up running out of backlog. So, there's a reason for it.
I mean, it's future proofing in its own way. Yeah.
Okay, so next, oh boy, next time we're going to do Dokyonin wa Hiza Tokidoki Atame no Ue.
That what he said.
Title.
That's gonna happen.
It's a title.
Living with your cat. It's cute.